Have you ever wondered why, even when you're eating healthy, things just aren't working the way they used to, especially in the bedroom? I'm Dr. Justin Keller. I'm a urologist, and I work with men every day who are confused, frustrated, and looking for answers. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 everyday foods. Some of them you probably think are good for you. That could actually be ruining your erections, especially if you're over 60. We're talking about health, cereals packed with hidden sugars, processed meats that silently choke your blood flow, soy-based snacks that mess with your hormones, diet sodas that fool your metabolism, and yes, even that evening beer that might be holding you back more than you know. These are the things no one warned us about. But they matter, because sexual health isn't just about intimacy. It's about energy, confidence, and quality of life. Watch until the very end, because the first food I cover is the most surprising and the one I see causing the most damage. If you're over 60 and want to protect your vitality, you don't want to miss it. Also, I'd love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments below and let's see how far this message reaches. If this kind of honest, real-world guidance matters to you, click like and subscribe to Glowing Age. It helps me keep creating these practical, compassionate lessons to support you every step of the way. Now, let's get into it. Hidden sugar bombs, healthy cereals, and granola bars. Did you know that your heart-healthy cereal could be quietly sabotaging your bedroom confidence? I see it all the time in my practice. A patient comes in frustrated. Everything else is fine, but their erections just aren't what they used to be. They're eating right, staying active, even avoiding red meat and heavy foods. But when we take a closer look at their diet, the problem is sitting right there on their breakfast table. A so-called healthy cereal or a granola bar with a picture of oats and berries on the wrapper. Here's what's happening. Many of these foods are loaded with hidden sugars. You won't see the word sugar front and center. Instead, it'll be disguised under names like cane juice, maltodextrin, brown rice syrup, or even dried fruit concentrates. These sugars spike your insulin levels, leading to inflammation and damaging the lining of your blood vessels, especially the delicate ones that support erectile function. Erections are fundamentally about blood flow. If your vascular system is compromised, even just a little, it shows up early in the most sensitive parts of the body. You might not notice it in your arms or legs yet, but the arteries supplying the pelvic region are much smaller. That's why erectile dysfunction is often the first sign of cardiovascular trouble in older men. And here's the kicker. Many of these low-fat, whole-grain breakfast products are marketed as smart choices for seniors, but they're often worse than a scoop of ice cream. A single serving of some high-fiber cereals can contain more sugar than a glazed donut, and most people don't stop at the recommended serving. Add flavored yogurt, a splash of sweetened almond milk, maybe a banana, and your healthy breakfast just turned into a blood sugar roller coaster. Over time, those constant sugar spikes wear down your insulin sensitivity. That's a problem because insulin resistance is linked to lower testosterone levels and poor nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is the molecule your body uses to relax blood vessels and allow for strong, sustained erections. Without it, the system just doesn't work. Now, I'm not saying you need to give up breakfast or even stop enjoying a little sweetness, but awareness is key. Start reading labels. Aim for cereals or bars with under 5 grams of added sugar per serving. Better yet, switch to high-protein, low-sugar options like steel-cut oats with chia seeds and berries. Skip the packaged bars and make your own snack mix with nuts and unsweetened coconut flakes. And don't underestimate the power of a steady breakfast routine that keeps your blood sugar stable. Your hormones, your heart, and yes, your erections will thank you. When I talk to my patients about this, there's often a moment of surprise. They've been doing everything right based on what the box says. But once they clean up those hidden sugars within weeks, they feel more energy, better focus, and often a noticeable difference where it counts. You don't need gimmicks or pills to reclaim your vitality, just smarter choices. And it starts with what's in your bowl. Processed meats, the silent circulation killers. Most men I talk to are shocked when I tell them this. Your morning bacon or lunchtime deli sandwich might be doing more harm to your sexual health than you ever imagined. We tend to think of erectile issues as isolated problems, maybe stress, maybe aging. But in medicine, we know that consistent performance in the bedroom is actually a direct reflection of cardiovascular health, and nothing quietly disrupts that system more than processed meats. Let's break it down. Processed meats, like bacon, ham, sausages, salami, and even that lean turkey breast from the deli, are full of saturated fats, sodium, and nitrates. These ingredients don't just impact your heart, they directly damage the endothelium, which is the inner lining of your blood vessels. That lining is responsible for producing nitric oxide, the very compound your body needs to relax blood vessels and allow healthy blood flow to the penis. When the endothelium becomes inflamed or dysfunctional, blood flow is compromised. You may not notice it climbing the stairs, but you'll feel it when it counts during intimacy. And here's the bigger issue. The arteries in the penis are only 1-2 millimeters wide. The coronary arteries in your heart are about 3-4 millimeters. That means these smaller vessels often show signs of disease years before you feel anything in your chest. Erectile dysfunction, in many cases, is the earliest symptom of a vascular problem. Now, let's talk about nitrates, those chemical preservatives used to keep processed meats looking fresh. When consumed regularly, nitrates are converted into compounds that may stiffen arteries and even interfere with testosterone production. Studies have linked frequent consumption of these meats to lower testosterone levels and a higher risk of metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions that further impair circulation, energy, and libido. You might be thinking, but I've eaten bacon my whole life. That's true for a lot of people, but the damage builds over time. In our 60s and beyond, we're dealing with the long-term effects of decades of dietary habits, and this is where it starts to catch up. Here's what I recommend. If you want to preserve your circulation and improve your performance, limit processed meats to the occasional treat. Swap them for heart-friendly proteins like grilled chicken, fish rich in omega-3s like salmon or sardines, or plant-based sources like lentils and beans. And if you really love a savory breakfast, try sautéed mushrooms with olive oil, a soft-boiled egg, and avocado on whole-grain toast. It's satisfying, nourishing, and supports, not sabotages, your vascular system. The truth is, no pill can undo what daily food choices do over time. I've had patients in their late 60s switch up their diet, cut down on processed meats, and within a few months, not only did their blood pressure improve, but so did their confidence in the bedroom. It's not about giving up what you enjoy. It's about protecting your ability to enjoy life fully for as long as possible. And sometimes, that starts with saying no to what's quietly hurting you. Soy-based processed foods, the hormone balancer you didn't expect. One of the most misunderstood topics I discuss with men over 60 is soy. I often hear, "Isn't soy supposed to be healthy?" And the truth is, yes, in its natural, whole form, soy can be part of a balanced diet. But when it comes to processed soy-based products, especially for aging men concerned about hormone health and sexual function, the story changes. Let's start with what soy actually does in the body. Soy contains compounds called phytoestrogens, plant-based chemicals that mimic estrogen, the female hormone. While these compounds are much weaker than the estrogen our bodies produce, they can still influence hormonal balance, especially in older men whose testosterone levels are already on the decline. Now, eating the occasional edamame or tofu stir-fry isn't going to throw your system off. But the concern comes from the overuse of soy derivatives, soy protein isolate, soy flour, textured vegetable protein, which are heavily concentrated and found in everything from protein bars and shakes to meat substitutes and even health snacks marketed to older adults. These ultra-processed forms of soy are created to enhance shelf life, improve texture, and boost protein content. But they're also much more potent sources of phytoestrogens than traditional soy foods. And while the research is ongoing, some studies have linked high intakes of these compounds to lower testosterone levels, decreased libido, and even erectile difficulties in men. You may not even realize how often you're consuming them. Many plant-based or low-fat foods targeted at seniors use soy isolates to replace animal protein or fat, especially products labeled as heart-healthy or cholesterol-lowering. But too much of these modified soy components may end up doing more harm than good when it comes to sexual vitality. There's also another layer: gut health. Processed soy can be hard to digest for some individuals, leading to inflammation in the gut, which we now know plays a huge role in overall hormone balance. Poor gut health affects nutrient absorption, testosterone production, and even stress regulation, all of which tie directly into sexual performance. I once worked with a man in his mid-60s who had replaced nearly all his meat with soy-based products, thinking he was doing the right thing. But he started noticing fatigue, lower libido, and mild erectile issues that didn't respond to medication. After reviewing his diet and removing the heavily processed soy items, he felt a change within just a few weeks. His energy came back and his confidence followed. So here's my advice: read labels carefully. If you see soy protein isolate or textured vegetable protein near the top of the ingredient list, it's probably worth limiting. Focus instead on whole food sources like organic tofu, tempeh, or fermented soy, which are gentler on the body and often better tolerated. And mix it up. Include other plant proteins like lentils, chickpeas, and quinoa to round out your meals. Remember, at this stage in life, it's not about strict diets. It's about knowing what truly nourishes your body and supports your quality of life. Sexual health isn't just about performance. It's a reflection of your total wellness. And sometimes, it starts with switching out that protein bar for something a little more whole, a little less processed, and a lot more balanced. Diet sodas and artificial sweeteners, a deceptive replacement. You gave up regular soda years ago. Maybe you switched to the diet version, thinking it was a smart, sugar-free alternative. After all, no calories, no sugar. Must be better for your health, right? Not so fast. As a urologist who treats men over 60, I've seen firsthand how artificial sweeteners can quietly undermine sexual health. Most diet sodas contain compounds like aspartame, sucralose, or acesulfame potassium, chemical sweeteners designed to mimic sugar without the calories. And while they seem harmless on the surface, the effects they can have on your metabolism, hormones, and vascular system tell a different story. Let's start with insulin response. Even though these sweeteners aren't technically sugar, your body often reacts to them as if they were. Some research suggests that the sweet taste alone, without the calories, can confuse your brain and digestive system. The result? An increase in insulin levels, disrupted blood sugar regulation, and over time, greater risk for insulin resistance. Why does that matter? Because insulin resistance is one of the most direct contributors to erectile dysfunction. It blunts nitric oxide production, damages blood vessels, and disrupts testosterone regulation, all three of which are essential for normal erectile function. Then there's the gut connection. Artificial sweeteners have been shown to alter the composition of gut bacteria, reducing beneficial strains and increasing inflammatory microbes. Your gut isn't just about digestion. It's central to immune function, hormone production, and nutrient absorption. A disturbed gut environment can contribute to low testosterone, poor energy, mood changes, and even reduced blood flow. One study even linked high diet soda consumption with increased risk of metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions including high blood pressure, abdominal obesity, and elevated blood sugar, all major risk factors for erectile dysfunction. Here's the other hidden problem: cravings. Many men who drink diet sodas regularly find themselves hungrier, more drawn to sweets and carbs later in the day. Why? Because your brain expected calories with that sweet taste, and when it doesn't get them, it goes looking for them elsewhere. That constant battle with sugar and carb cravings often leads to weight gain, further hormonal imbalance, and increased strain on circulation. I had one patient, a retired engineer who drank diet soda religiously, 3 or 4 cans a day. He thought he was making a healthier choice by avoiding sugar. But after years of fatigue, weight gain around the midsection, and declining libido, we made one change: cutting out the diet sodas. Within weeks, his energy improved. A few months later, so did his erectile function. Now, I'm not saying one can of diet soda will ruin your health, but over time, regular intake adds up. And for men over 60, every choice either supports your body or quietly works against it. So what can you do instead? Start with infused water, fresh lemon, mint, or cucumber, or switch to sparkling water with no additives. Herbal teas, unsweetened iced teas, and even a small glass of red wine with dinner can be satisfying alternatives that don't compromise your hormones or blood flow. Your goal isn't just to avoid sugar. It's to preserve the intricate systems that support your strength, stamina, and confidence. And sometimes, that starts by looking past the 0 calories label and choosing something real. Excess alcohol, especially beer. It's easy to justify that evening beer or glass of wine, especially in retirement. You've earned it, right? A little relaxation at the end of the day. But here's what I tell every man over 60 who walks into my office concerned about energy, libido, or sexual performance. Alcohol, especially beer, is not as harmless as it seems. In small amounts, alcohol can feel like a stress reliever, even a social lubricant. But when it becomes a daily habit, or when just one drink turns into 2 or 3, it starts to affect your body in ways that quietly chip away at your sexual health. Let's begin with the hormonal impact. Beer contains phytoestrogens, plant-based compounds found in hops that mimic estrogen. Over time, frequent beer consumption can contribute to a subtle hormonal shift, lower testosterone and higher estrogen levels. That imbalance doesn't just affect your mood or motivation. It directly impairs your body's ability to achieve and maintain an erection. You may have heard of the term beer belly, but it's not just about appearance. That weight around the midsection is often a sign of visceral fat, the type that interferes with testosterone production and increases inflammation throughout the body. And when inflammation rises, blood vessel function declines, making healthy blood flow to the penis more difficult. Now let's talk about the liver. The liver plays a key role in hormone metabolism. When it's overburdened by regular alcohol intake, it becomes less efficient at clearing excess estrogen and supporting testosterone balance. A sluggish liver also contributes to fatigue and poor recovery, 2 things no man wants working against him in the bedroom. There's also the vascular effect. Alcohol, especially in excess, is a vasodilator in the short term, which is why you might feel warm or flushed after a few drinks. But over time, chronic use actually damages the lining of your blood vessels, increases your blood pressure, and reduces your body's ability to produce nitric oxide, the molecule necessary for blood vessel relaxation and erection. Even moderate drinking has been shown to reduce REM sleep, which is when testosterone is naturally produced during the night. Poor sleep equals lower testosterone equals decreased libido and performance. It's a chain reaction many don't realize is happening. And let's be honest, alcohol also dulls sensation and delays response. That means even if an erection happens, it might not be as strong or satisfying as it once was. Alcohol can interfere with arousal, focus, and even the emotional connection that's essential to a meaningful, intimate life. I had a patient in his early 70s who enjoyed a few beers with dinner every night. He was active, sharp, and fairly healthy, but his erections were inconsistent, and he didn't understand why. We looked at his labs. His testosterone was borderline low, his liver enzymes slightly elevated. We cut his alcohol intake in half and switched from beer to an occasional glass of red wine. Within months, his hormone levels began to normalize and his confidence returned. So what's the bottom line? Moderation is everything. If you enjoy a drink now and then, that's perfectly fine. But if it's become a daily routine, or you're relying on it to unwind, it might be time to reassess. Try replacing it with non-alcoholic options like herbal teas, sparkling water with citrus, or simply drinking only on weekends or special occasions. Because the goal isn't just to live longer, it's to live better. Clearer, stronger, more in control of your health and your pleasure. Every small shift in habit is a step toward that version of yourself. And sometimes it starts with what's in your glass. If you've made it this far, thank you. That tells me you care, not just about your performance, but about taking control of your health in a smart, informed way. You've now seen 5 everyday foods that could be quietly interfering with your erections and your overall vitality. They might seem harmless, even healthy, but the way they affect your blood vessels, your hormones, and your metabolism tells a different story. Remember, this isn't about guilt. It's about knowledge. And once you understand what's really going on, you can make better choices that support a longer, stronger, more fulfilling life. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to Glowing Age. It's the easiest way to support the channel and to make sure you don't miss future videos like this one. I'm Dr. Justin Keller. Stay well, stay strong, and remember, getting older isn't about fading away. It's about refining the way you live.